The kit I ordered was 2004 and up, and the kit I got was 97 2002, so I had to order these 4 clutches, the ones that came with 32 teeth, but I was supposed to have 32 or 30 teeth for the Sprag. So we'll go ahead and put this in again. So the first one that goes in is this notched one, and that notch is for the ring clip in there. So we'll put that one in there, and our wavy plate, a steel, a clutch, another steel, another clutch, another steel. And you can see I've pre-soaked these. And our last one. And then the ring. I thought I could do that, but I guess I need a little screwdriver help. And then we're going to check our spacing. That should work. So it should be 40 thousandths. It might be a little bit more, but I think it'll be okay. Okay, this planetary gear center goes there. This one goes on next, like that, because it has the extra that goes in. And then this one goes on like this. You have to line up the blank spots like that. And then I'm going to stick that inside the planetary set. Okay. We already have our thrust bearing in there. Okay. I have my 2 Sprags on the sun gear in there. The shell is in there. I'm going to put the second drum band in there, and then I've assembled the second drum and the other drum, and we're going to have all the clutches lined up, so it should go in there very smoothly. And pull up on this band a bit. Okay, that drum went in, but not this one. There it goes. Okay, everything is in all the way. The band is lining up where it's supposed to be. And now I should be able to put the support in. Next we're going to put the driven sprocket support in there, being careful to not ruin the Teflon. Just working it down carefully. And it's going to be recessed a little bit when it's in all the way. And then we have oil dam. Like that. Then like that. And then we have a looking for my 3-tab washer. There it is. Next, we're going to attempt to replace these 2 Teflon seals on here. Okay, I got both of those on there. I'm going to try using a hose clamp to resize those down. Next time I will use a piece of plastic to protect it from the sharp edges on the clamp. Hope that'll be okay. Then we have one more here and here. I think this is a okay. Next, once I got these rings on here, I'm gonna gently put them in the to resize that, and then later I'll stick it on this side to resize this one. These are about as fun to get on as they are to get off. There. We'll stick it in there. Okay. Okay, I got another 3-tab washer that goes. I'll put goo on there so it doesn't fall out while I'm putting it in. It goes right in there. And then I want to make sure this fits on there. Okay, that's good. Next we put our chains on. So what I have here is the chains. Both have the colored link. The colored link up. They're not colored on the other side. And then we put our sprocket in there. And they're both straight. Okay, that's seated all the way. Now I gotta find my 4-tab washer. All the parts are here somewhere. Here it is. It's still on there. Okay, so it's the 2 different styles. One has double clutches, one has single clutches. So the first one here, this with the ridge up, goes in here with the notch over here and the tab over here. And we put our first clutch. Oops. Second clutch. Clutch, 4th clutch, and then gotta get the right one now. Keep second guessing myself. There it is, the right pressure plate. There. I guess we should clean up that surface a little bit. And I can't replace that or do anything with this with the way I got it now. I don't have a stand for this, so we're going to lay it back down on the bench. That's considerably heavier. Okay, inspect this. So this one actually came with a paper gasket. I do have metal ones to replace that with. Metal ones. So we'll go ahead and get this cover cleaned up. Not quite there yet. There it goes. Looks like they even put a bead of silicone around there. That might not be a bad idea. I'm going to clean that up a little bit with the sander. I think I know why they use silicone in there, because they nicked it up getting the old one out. Normally you don't need that because they have a coating on it that seals with the... But I'll go ahead and put a little bead on there. Okay, I've just put a real small bead just on that inside. Wipe off a little of the excess. Alright, now we gotta clean up the rest of this plate. Okay, I'm just using a little razor scraper. Making sure I don't nick the aluminum. Okay, we got a KO98 kit. We're going to install AFL valve. This is the old one that comes out with the clip like that, and the new one we're going to install looks a little different. You can see that. And then this one comes with a little plug that we're going to put in here. And we're going to use the old valve to install that. I'll put some goop on here. Put some goo on there to hold that to the end of it. And then we're going to push that in. Push that in until it's exposed right there. It's a little hard to see. Maybe if I turn the flash on a little bit, I don't know if you can still see that. Maybe that's a better angle. Okay, so we want to get it until the cap shows out there. So let's get a short little punch. I just have a punch. You can see it there sticking out. Then the new valve with the new spring. Have to pull the old one out again. I don't have a small magnet. I have a. Here's what I do. There we go. And a new one goes in. The spring goes inside there, and rub that up. Should slide in freely. It does. And then we have to use I'm going to use a bigger screwdriver here. Okay, that is the KO98 mod kit, and that one came from Superior Transmission Parts. KO98 AFL valve repair kit. Okay, next we're going to do the accumulator. Fourth accumulator came out of here. It's got two springs inside and a pin. And I checked this. The one that came out of here has quite a bit of wear and a little bit of slop. So I'm going to take this one that came out of my parts transmission and use it instead. First we're going to replace this seal. It is going to be the smaller of the three that came in the kit. Make sure you don't pinch it and get it in evenly. Next, the O-ring. gets pushed down in there. Like that. The pin. Goes on this side. Just like that. And that's the fourth accumulator. Next we're going to replace these gaskets it came with plastic. The new ones are metal. And there's two lineup pins, one up here and one down here. Don't forget the reluctor wheel. Put some I like to put goop on everything, goo, whatever you want to call it. I'll hold it in place. Okay, next we're going to put the channel plate on. I moved the metal gaskets here. I've got some goo to hold them in place. The lineup pins are right here, and these have to be aligned with that there. Next, what we're going to do is hook this to the bottom. I also have my 3-tab in there and my 3-tab on there. Okay, we're going to try and put the channel plate on. I have my 4th gear clutches in place. I have my 3-tab bushing here and a 3-tab bushing here. This is the plastic one, and we have our new seals here. I put these new metal gaskets on, both on the top and bottom. They're lined up. I have kind of some goo on there to hold them in place. And next we're going to attempt to put this on. First we will pull this out. I've taken this off because it's easier to put on later. And we'll go ahead and put this through the little loop. Okay, I just wanted to make one comment about these clutches. You have to have this lined up with the top hole there. And the tab, excuse me, the tab here lines up with this notch here. And first we'll put the linkage on here through the little hole. I have my new steel gaskets held in place with some goo. Just like that, it's in. And then we have lots of bolts to put in. Now this is the first time for me trying to figure out which bolts to put in where. So we'll probably look that up on a chart. This roller goes in between. Uh-oh. Can't get that past the valve body, so we're going to have to pull that back again. There we go. Sorry, channel plate. And the roller goes in between there. Yeah, that's better. It should screw in with your fingers. Now there's a little gap here, but the bolts will pull that together. As long as you're not binding in there. And now we got to find out which bolts to go where. These have a 10mm head. That was the one I cut off. I did get a replacement for that. Okay, so the first 3 bolts that I put in, these are the 10mm head. These are the larger thread bolts with the 10mm head. There's 3 of them. And then these are the smaller thread, still 10mm. 1, 2, and 3. Those are the first ones I'm going to put in. And if you want torque specs, it says to start them off with 9, then go to 11, then 18, depending on which one. So I'm just going to snug these up to begin with. There's 9 foot-pounds, or 108 multiplied by 12 for inch-pounds. Okay, next we're going to work on the balls in here, the check balls. Okay, there's 4 check balls that go on this channel plate, and I'm going to show you where they are. They do have like a rounded hole. So there's 1, 2, 3. Nope, gotta make sure I do the right one now. Right here, don't mess that up. It's in between these other 2 balls that stay in there. There. And the last one is right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go ahead and stick these balls in the goo. Got our line-up pin here. Before we forget, we're going to put this oil splash part in there. And next we're going to put our gasket in there. This is going to be the gasket with a C. And they are different for paddle shift. And next we're going to prep our plate here. We have new filters to put in there. Two new little filters. These just push out. The old ones, mine are all bent up anyway. Snap the new one in. There we go. And now we're going to peel this old one off. Got a little bit of cleaning here. Next we have the one with the V for the valve body. Next we got our two large check balls there. I think what I'm going to do is replace the, well, two of them didn't come in. The shift cylinders, or the shift valves did not come in. But I do have the TCC and the EPC. I guess I'll go ahead and put those in first. Okay, there are a total of 6 balls in the valve body. The two large ones go here, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of the smaller ones. Okay, next we're going to put the pump shaft in. And then we can install the valve body. Okay, next we're going to replace the TCC solenoid. I have a new one here. This one is standard. And we have to pull the clip out of there. Looks like it's turned a bit. There we go. Oops, dropped it. Pull the old one out and put the new one in. Actually, I just lube up the O-rings a little bit so it'll go in smoothly. Pop. Okay, that one's in. This one we will do later because there's a bolt behind it. We also have the shift solenoid here and shift solenoid here. Those did not come in. The Postal Service said they attempted delivery, although I was home and nobody came, so I think they lied. So next we will put the pump on there. So this is your TCC regulator valve. I pulled this plug out. It's got a clip ring and it has a spot for an O-ring. The one I pulled out is brown. The one in my replacement kit is also brown. Make sure you replace this. Guess it'd help if I put it in the right way. That was good. That's all for. Okay, let's try that again. This time we'll hold it in so it doesn't pop out. And then the clip goes back in there. There we go. Okay, we have a couple pressure switches here. I was not going to replace it. Instead, what I'm going to do is check it and make sure that it's working. So this is a switch. It doesn't necessarily have a resistance value, but it can vary anywhere from 19 to 24. So a way to check this is you put your, let's see, there we have 2.6 ohms, and then it should be open the other way, which it is. So this switch is good and working. This switch, however, that I pulled out of my other car for spare parts, let me put it on the wire. As you can see there, it's open to the wire. There's nothing there, and it really doesn't matter if you switch it because it never changes. So this switch is bad. I'll recheck this one with the wire. We're getting continuity there. And then when we push the button, oops, okay, there's the continuity, and there's the open. Come on, cooperate. Continuity, open when pushed in. Continuity, open when pushed in. So this switch is good. Okay, finding out which bolts go where is pretty easy. This one has a shoulder washer built in. It's a outside Torx. You have a 30 Torx here, and the other two Torx go right here. These are the bigger threads. There's smaller ones here, here, and here. But those are still 10 millimeter. So we're going to go ahead and tighten those up to 9 foot-pounds. I'm just going to tighten them up with this. Get the clutch on my drill for now, just to screw them in. So most of these are already in. Quarter adapter. 8. Oh, that's my 10. Now let me get my 8. I had it sitting here. There it is. Okay, now we'll go through them. Make sure they're all torqued to 9. Okay, these ones with the 10mm heads, they get 11 pounds. then we're going to go ahead and put this pump assembly on. And I've left all the bolts in here. These are all the same size. These two with the 13mm heads are on the top there. Okay, when you get it that far, then you reach over on the torque converter side there and make sure that that spline lines up. And then we'll go ahead and screw all these bolts in. Don't forget to put this clip in here. These go up to 15, basically tight. Okay, everything's tight. My shift solenoids did come in. These have a little notch on them, so you can tell the notch goes forward into the, or the tab goes into the notch. Clip goes in there. There we go. Okay, since we have this bolt torqued, just make sure here that it's tight. Yes, it's tight. We can go ahead and put this EPC solenoid in. This also has a little tab that goes up. And we gotta find a little clip. I left it on here. Put the TCC in there, our speed sensor, and we need our temperature sensor. That's all on this. I left it right on the end of this. Let's see. These are keyed. There's only one way to plug them in, and they should just line up pretty easy with what you already have there. Let's see. Guess we're ready for the case cover. And what do we have for a gasket? The kit came with a gasket, but I think I'm going to use this reusable gasket. Seems to be in good condition. Just clean it up a little bit. Oh, this is the pan gasket. I will not be using that one. Found the correct one. Okay. I will now spend some time cleaning the cover. Okay, clean the inside of the pan out. I have put the O-ring square one in there, and now we're going to try and line this up with the gasket. I'm just going to try starting these just enough to get that gasket lined up all the way around. I know there are some bolts that have studs stick them out of them. I'm not really sure where they go on this transmission, and I don't think it really matters because I didn't have anything hooked up to any of those studs. I know these Torx bolts, they go on the bottom. to find my deep well for the studded ones. I think this is too small. Oh, guess it works. $40. Okay, this is the placement of the bolts. This one here and this one over here, and in my case it's a studded bolt. Those are the alignment ones, but if you and then another one right there's a studded bolt, and two studded bolts up here, and then the 4 Torx, 40 Torx down there, 44 Torx, 440 Torx. Tongue twister there. If you put all the bolts in and don't tighten them down real tight, it should align pretty good. But if you want to do the tightening right away, then make sure you use the alignment ones. Otherwise your case will be in the wrong position. Next we're going to replace the torque converter seal. I'm going to do like I usually do. I'm just going to collapse with a screwdriver. On this GXP transmission, it's pretty easy because it has a slot here off to the side. I can reach in with the screwdriver. That's for the starter. It's a little bit different than the other, and it's specific to the 5.3 LS4 engine. Looks like that one had a bead of RTV in it too. I did scrape it up a little bit there. Not too bad. Guess we'll have to clean up that RTV a bit. always like to lube up my seals. I should have done that before I stuck it in there. But I can get some in there with a screwdriver. And then we gotta find the O-ring for that. Let's see if this is it. There we go. Okay, we have our accumulator here. We need to find this one has a lip. And the way I'm holding it now, the groove is down. Let's find that one. Well, it looks like one with a groove. Oh, that's too small though. This must be it. I got another kit too that came with my shift kit. Let's see if that has the... Yeah, this is the newer style. It has a bigger lip. I'm using this Transgo SK4T65E shift kit. It's got a bigger surface. That one. And then we have to peel out this blue cover O-ring. And I'm going to clean this up a little bit with some fine sandpaper. And the kit has a blue O-ring. And where's my snap ring? And don't put the end of these in the gap there, because then the ring can pop out. I've had that happen while going down the road. I almost need an extra hand. There's my extra hand. Mr. Jorgensen to the rescue. Okay, that one's in. Time to clean up a little bit and move around. Okay, now we're going to do the forward servo, and I have the Sonics pin kit with the upgraded pin for the forward servo. So we're going to put this in. There's the new one. Little C-clip. And there's the differences. It looks like this one's worn a bit anyway, but it's a little bit longer, and it's supposed to keep the forward band from breaking. And it came with rings, split rings. This one doesn't have those. Not sure why it came with 4 of them. I guess they figure I'm going to wreck 2 of them. And I already checked this one, the band. Is there in the right place.